So you said you're 5K.
Yep.
What are you here for? Like, why are you here?
Well, I'm here because my friend bought a session and then he didn't want it to give it to me. But,
Nice.
yeah.
That's what I
Uh,
like to hear. Somebody who didn't want the service they bought.
but well, it's because he's like Harold too, so he was scared of getting flamed.
Oh, he was scared of getting grilled,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. So yeah, and he said like if he liked it, he might give it a go.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so um, if you had bought this session yourself,
No.
why would you have bought it?
Uh, well, I don't know. I just would like to get better. I'm a mid player, so
Okay,
mostly.
cool, man. So I guess since do you have some replays ready?
Yeah, I do.
Cool.
I just closed the tab. Very nice. Just a second. Okay, I've got yeah, I do. I do. Oh, I just opened the Twitch. That's why I'm applying to you. Okay, send it in the Discord.
Yeah, cool. I'll go ahead and screen share you after I find it.
It's actually a safe lane game though.
Oh,
PL though.
well, there you
I
go.
haven't played mid.
I'll probably be able to coach that a bit better anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, so um, pretty much this is the how many of my coaching sessions have you watched? It just helps me
Quite a
know.
few over the like past couple years. So
Okay.
yeah, I would say like I know about like dead lane and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
Well, summons and
basically, like the reason why I ask is because like at the beginning of every session, if you tend to notice, I go over like what I think your bracket tends to suffer from. So like players
I
in your
know.
bracket, around 5K, I tend to think like you're mechanically skilled. Usually, you're like
Your
all of
turn
your
to bat.
mistakes are simply um, because you're either not thinking or because you don't know what you're supposed to be thinking. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
So like your purpose for doing what you're doing, even the little
Oh,
things
I see.
like aggro and pulling, like these little things, you guys really don't have like purpose for them. So I try to make you guys think with purpose, and it usually helps a lot. So do you have any questions about that as we go?
Yeah, I think I
You're
just
cutting out a little bit, I think.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Wait a second. Okay, is it good now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I changed the server on Discord. That was a mistake.
Turn you
So
up a
no, no
bit.
questions.
No questions? Okay.
No
Yeah,
questions.
you're just a little quiet, so I'll turn you up. Okay, so first and foremost, I think the Atom's okay. But when it comes to a hero like PL, the skill that comes in items is like whether or not you buy like a mango, two mangoes, branches, because like branches means you intend to trade with right clicks level one. Mangoes mean you intend to bully them away with lances. And then neither of those things means neither. So that's just an example of what that of like the decision to go into these items. And when I look at you, like when I look at players like yourself and I see these items, you are telling me those things. Even if you don't know you're telling me those things, that's how I need to see it so I can teach you guys what to think about. So like right now, I'm pretty much being told that you're relying enough on Coddle for mana, and you won't need mana for lances, and you won't really look to be trading a ton level one because you don't have any branches. That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
I don't think a salve's that important in this lane because you're against Doom Undying most likely, and it could be Dazzle too, which is fine. Both all these heroes are harassment heroes. They're not burst heroes. So the way I look at that is like if I'm against a centaur in lane and I don't have a salve and I drop to like half health, then I can't actually lane because if I walk up I die. Um, so in this lane, I don't think it's really that important that you're full health, and thus I don't think it's that important that you have a salve. So just something to think about again is like I actually didn't learn how to use salves or like when to buy salves until like 8 months ago, maybe 9 months ago. So These little decisions may seem like I'm micromanaging to a lot of people, and maybe it does to you, but I will tell you that they matter a lot when it comes to high level lane matchups. So like the way I look at items, I just look at what they tell me I'm gonna do in lane. So I told you about the branches, I told you about the mango, and it's like now I look at the salve and I say this salve means that I intend to have to be willing to or have to be able to go from no health to full health, meaning like the time I need a salve is when I'm against a hero like Centaur that will kill me if I'm not full health, or if I'm against a hero that I'm going to be trading with, and if they have a salve and I don't, they can force trades. So what happens is I learned about 1v1s. There was one patch where 1v1 safe lane was really popular, and I was getting dumpstered. And I basically had to practice 1v1s. And one of the things I learned was like if I'm in a lane that's like two melee heroes and they trade a lot in certain matchups and the other guy has a salve and I don't, he can just like force me to fight him and then I have no salve and he does and then he wins the lane. So I'm just
Is
giving
that
you. Go ahead.
is that like with Quap when like you have to run back? The reason she gets good trades is because you have to run away from her.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the main example I have is Brew in the side lanes. So like Brew's a hero that like forces trades with you because of his slows that slow your attack, not only your movement speed. And certain heroes can kind of man up on him, but no hero really like crushes him in like the man up battle. So like what happened was I would realize since I didn't have a salve that if he ever clapped me, I would literally have to run away, and then he'd get like two or three clicks off on me. So instead of me losing like 400 health, I would lose like 250, but he would lose zero because I couldn't trade with him. So I would just lose the lane. These are just like it's just the idea like once you're 5K, I kind of assume you're gonna understand that application once you see it in a game. Like once you go into a lane on the side lanes and you realize you're at low health and you feel like you couldn't trade, it's because you didn't buy a salve is the problem you're having, right? Like that's you may not feel it immediately the next game. It's something where all the things I'm telling you guys to think about are things that can potentially go wrong that in high tier Dota will go wrong because the guy will punish you for it because he knows these things, right? So I'm just telling you to think like this, and if the situation comes up, you can recognize like its familiarity to you, and then you can adjust accordingly. And that's all getting from like 5K to higher is like it's just recognizing bad things happening and fixing them. So I don't love the stick. The way I look at this lane is you should 100% level your W right away. I don't know how much you play PL, how much you play side lanes. But every hero, I think to myself, so I haven't been playing, like, there's certain heroes I don't play a ton of, right? So let's say I have never really played Arc Warden. I've played Arc Warden, but, like, say I haven't played a lot of them. I like when I go into a hero, I think to myself what each skill enables me to do and like why I would ever level it. So like on Arc Warden, I think my Spark Wraith gives me CS, like it allows me to secure range CS, while my Q allows me to like harass somebody or like chase them down. And it's like my W, I'm never really gonna level that, so that's not gonna be a consideration. And so it's like once I get into the lane, if I'm not sure what to level yet, I'll wait and see which one comes up first. Meaning, like, do I have to secure CS or is this guy getting caught out by my supports? And it's like, so going into this lane, I think it's good that you held your skill point. But the minute that Doom W's or hits you with his thing, the DOT thing, you should immediately level your W and minimize the harass. So this is a lane where I look at Doom and I look at Doom Undying, and like I ask you, this is something you can assess in your mid lanes as well. So this is important skill. Like,
Yeah.
what are you threatened by in this lane? What do you think this lane's gonna look like for you?
I'm gonna have to like pull creeps every now and again, and like not really be able to walk up to creeps much, except for when I, I pull them back.
Yeah, and you're just basically gonna be stuck like creep aggroing the whole time, right?
Yeah,
This is like the same thing as playing like DK against Monkey King mid, right?
yeah,
Like you're kind of just a melee hero that's unfavored against the other melee hero. You're forced to drag creeps all the time. You're trying to minimize harass, and you're trying to secure CS. So like, and that's all you can do, right? Like for the first bit, like you and Coddle are kind of weak level one compared to these two heroes. So when I think about it that way, Like the reason why stick isn't that great is because you just need to secure CS, and your window for CSing is very difficult because you have 62 damage, and so does Doom. Doom's like very close to 62 damage. So he has branches, so he has 64. The point is like, if you look at the matchup going that way, you'll be like, there's certain matchups where if you level the stick early, say I'm PL against Batrider, I'm okay to take a stick early because I'm willing to trade with that guy. But like in this lane, if you're buying the stick, you're telling me you're willing to trade with them. So for future reference, if you think you're willing to trade with them, sure, you can still buy a stick. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. But I need you to only buy a stick when you think you can trade with them. So, like, you need to declare that for yourself, saying, I'm buying the stick because I can trade with these guys. And then you try to trade with them, or then you realize you can't trade with them, and then you never buy a stick in this situation again. That's like, these things are so fine details, right? But like, it just, all I've learned is as you go up in the MMR bracket is if the other guy is doing these little things and you're not, you actually just lose. And it doesn't even come down to mechanical execution. Like mechanical execution only comes into play when both players are doing these things at approximately the same level. Um, okay, so notice how you are just stuck dragging creeps. Like, you are doing it, which obviously, you know, I am expecting. So you level it late, which is fine. It's okay if you realize the correct thing late. It's just for future you try to get it better at it.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a spot where, you know, it's very simple what I'm going to say here, but it's the discipline to, follow through on your own knowledge. So basically, what I view in this lane is it's heavy harass. These guys don't really have kill potential on you unless you're really low, right? Like, they're not going to just burst you out of nowhere. So the way I look at it is you have to weather the storm is kind of how I view it. Like, you just have to get past this point where you eventually can out sustain their shit and you're not running out of regen before you get any basic items, right? Like, you need to get like a wraith band or maybe some boots before you run out of regen. So early on, since you didn't level your W, you're probably missing like a tango or two. And here, you know your W is the way to mitigate their harass, and you know his harass is his Infernal Blade. So if you really want to get amazingly specific, do you know how long Infernal Blade cooldown is level 1?
I have no idea.
It's,
I guess it's like 8, maybe?
it's 16 seconds.
Oh, okay.
So it's 16, 12, 8, 4. Okay? So, like, you know, you can look at this kind of stuff. It matters, okay? Like, it does matter. So why do I think that matters? Because once he Infernal Blades you and you W, and yours is 25-second cooldown, that means around 10 seconds it's going to be off cooldown again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's basically this 10-second window where you're not allowed to walk up to him. So sometimes that means you're not going to get that creep that you just went for. Sometimes that means you're not going to be able to hit him when you wish you could. Sometimes, you know, whatever. But like recognizing these little power spikes in lane is like super important. It's like if you get stunned by a Monkey King, and he has his Jingu up, like you need to know how long Monkey King's stun cooldown is. Otherwise, like you might just die out of nowhere. Like, do you know how long the cooldown is on Jingu or on Monkey King's stun?
It's like 25, maybe.
Yeah, it's 22. So at the end of the day, you should know close. Like ideally, eventually, you know, you'll want to know exacts, but know close to what it is. So like you said 8, which like I you know, I will correct you and say that's not even close. So like the point is like you're just trying to minimize these little like all the lane is basically like this war of attrition between the two players of like who can come out on top doing all these little things correct. And it's like at 5 minutes, all I realized was over time when I was playing against really good players, I don't even want to say 5 minutes, somewhere between like 3 and 5 minutes, I was just getting worn down by these better players. Like they were just doing all these little things where like over the course of the entire lane, I was just screwed. And that's why, you know, what happens here is you took that W, you took the E from him, and then you used your W, and then you took another E from him, and now you're forced to salve. It's like I view it as like if you had avoided ever taking an E from the Doom without your W off cooldown, I feel like you'd be like virtually full health right now. You know what I mean? And so this is the kind of stuff where now you're expending a salve, which everyone makes mistakes. Like I do this where I'm like, wow, I messed up here, so I have to salve, but whatever. So that's life. But like this is a lane where I honestly probably would have bought 9 tangos for like the exact reasons I'm talking about. You're not dying quickly, you're just getting worn down. So that's something you can reflect on in a lane like this. And so, like I said, it's really hard for you to die. So luckily they overextended. So basically, Undying has a poor understanding of the fact that they just need to keep doing this, and now that you have no regen, you're fucked, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he overextended, luckily. Um, so they pulled. So based on what I've said in this lane, what should your first 2 items be?
I guess one Wraithband or something like that. I bought boots thinking at the time that it meant I could run away so they couldn't run me down and hit me. But maybe that's wrong.
No, I'd say Quelling Blade and Boots.
Okay.
Because what did I say you needed to avoid happening, right? The Doom walking up and hitting you when you don't want
Yeah.
him to. So, like, that's like. The thing is, the Wraithband, what does Wraithband do for you? It helps you stand
Let's
your
trade.
ground and
Yeah.
creep hit, right? And trade.
Yeah.
You can't do that in this lane,
Yeah.
right? So, you're absolutely correct here. But now you're in this spot where all you have is this. You have this 200 gold stick that's like a complete waste. And what I mean by waste is like I would go Quelling Blade boots then stick. Like the stick doesn't do enough for you for how much gold you spent for this early in the game, right? So that's
Because
why like go ahead.
I was, I mean, I can see why it's wrong now, but I was thinking in the game that it would help me sustain against Undying. But I guess is that ever the right way to think about the stick? It's
Oh
like
no. I don't think
the only
sticking
trade.
I don't think stick is sustain at all. So like
Yeah.
the way I view it, okay, so stick can be sustained, right? But the main purpose of stick, in my opinion, is the mana it gives you. The health is
Yeah.
like a bonus, but the mana is better. So what the mana does is it allows you to like fight back, right? Because certain heroes, like if I'm PL, I usually can only lance like 3 or 4 times,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if I'm against Batrider, I can lance like 7 times because I have a stick. So like if I think to myself that I want to fight back, then I'll buy stick. So why do you think I said Quelling Blade boots then stick?
Well, partly because Cotter will give me mana if I wanted to do that, and also I I'm not going to be trading until I have those items.
You're not going to be trading until you have those items and maybe like a point in all your skills.
Yeah.
Because level 1, you have to level your W. Level 2, you can consider your Q or your E. What would your Q do for you and what would your E do for you?
My E will let me farm. My Q will let me kill.
Your Q would honestly like either one could be used to secure CS, like depending on what CS they are and what lane you're in, and then either one can be used to like potentially get some harass damage, right? You're not killing
Would,
anybody in this lane,
would
so
my E help me jungle? That's
um
when I said farm. That's what I was thinking.
well, I'm talking like literally what you're going to skill on level 2.
Oh.
So like I'm not talking about
Yeah.
maxing your E or maxing your Q. Like if I'm talking about like what your purpose of your skill is at level 2, what does it do
Yeah.
for you? Okay? And these are like I know I'm grilling you, but these
No, it's fine.
decisions need to be like very methodical. And this is stuff where like it sounds like it's a lot to think about, right? Because you're going to be busy laning, you're going to be busy playing core, right? Like as a core, you're very focused on just playing the game, like as opposed to supports who generally can focus more on the conceptual stuff. But if you like get this down where every hero you play, you go into the game knowing what each skill does for you. The only time I really mess up majorly in lane and look stupid is when I just like get lazy or when I don't think about something or I didn't know something. And so it's like eventually this stuff becomes natural for you. It's like so I know I'm going into this lane, I'm going to level my W, I'm going to buy a Quelling Blade, then a stick or sorry, Quelling Blade, then boots, and then a stick. And it's like during at level 3, I'm gonna have all 3 of my abilities. But what order am I gonna level them? Like that's kind of for me. So when I get to level
Yeah.
2, I know that my Q and E, since I'm still not trying to kill them or anything, because it's just me and a coddle. Like I know I'm not gonna kill them. My Q kind of allows me to secure CS from long range, but it costs more mana. And my E allows me to like Phantom Rush in for a CS. So in this case, since I didn't go stick, I would probably go for the E. If I was against Batrider, I would probably go for the Q. So it's like And against Batrider, I wouldn't need a quelling. Why would I not need a quelling against Batrider?
Because he's not gonna be able to deny.
He's got like 40 damage, so
Yeah.
I don't care about him. But Doom's got 60, so that's a problem. So yeah, these are just itty bitty things that like are why you have 11 CS in a hard lane. Like I actually think this is a really easy lane if played incredibly,
Oh really?
like very correctly. Like every time I play PL in a lane like this, I slightly out level them and win. Like I'm not trying to flame. Like I play a ton of PL,
Yeah.
right? I play a ton of PL. But like you should virtually get no denies. Like they should not deny you any creeps in this lane. Is how I view this lane. They have no kill. Like the way PL is good and what he's good at is he has high base HP regen and low base health. So he's really good at just sustaining a lane, but he's really bad against lanes that can just flat out kill him. So in lanes like this, I think these are lanes that PL is very good at. So I also have played PL against Undying probably 50 times because PL counters Undying in the game. So like I'll pick a PL into Undying intentionally. Okay, so now when you say like when you talked about your E being your farming skill and your Q being like, you know, your trading skill, I think this is a lane where what's the lane gonna look like 2 minutes from now?
I would imagine I still can't farm the lane very well. But the reason I
Why?
leveled my Q here is because I thought I could get killed by Din.
Okay.
Uh,
So
why is because I'll be low HP all the time, I guess.
okay, so the way I
If I get
look
the
at it is, are you winning or losing this lane, and in game can you tell?
so what do you mean, sorry?
Like right now you're losing the lane. And when you're in game, don't you like know you're losing?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. So when you're losing a lane to a Doom, what does that mean?
He's gonna get 6.
Okay, and when he gets 6, what does that mean?
I got a jungle.
Okay, so if you're gonna jungle when he's 6, what does that mean?
I got to max my E.
Yeah, you got it. Like, there's no option. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you think you can get a kill or not. Like, even if
Yeah,
in this kind of lane, it's like you're not allowed to level your Q because you're behind and you're against a Doom. So, like, part of being like gaining MMR at your bracket is understanding what every hero in the game and every matchup does when they're winning and when they're losing. Like, so if Doom's losing, he's a useless piece of shit, and you should just bully him and take his tower because he's useless. But like,
yeah,
if he's winning, if he gets 6, it's a dead lane immediately. Like you literally cannot walk up. And what's the lane gonna look like? You're gonna leave. Coddle's gonna soak and blast it, right?
yeah,
That's what's gonna happen. So the minute that you start to fall behind, your shift in mindset should immediately go, I'm gonna stay here as long as I can until Doom gets 6, and then I have to jungle. I have to play and skill build according to that. Like, and so this is like, it's funny, you know, that notice how not a single thing I've said is mechanically based here.
yeah.
So it's like I'm watching your mechanics. It's not like I'm ignoring them. There's nothing like significantly alarming about your mechanics. So it's like your CSing is generally fine. All the CS you've missed is because you're taking too much harass for conceptual reasons, and you're also just like you're walking up with no W right there. Another example. It just shows over the course of this lane. So your Caudal is pulling, and so it's not your game's not a disaster. Your game's not like great, but your game's not a disaster. This patch specifically, I just go for treads on PL because it's their attack speed again, and I think it's too good. The minute he E's you, you should just W. There's really no question like about it. I can't tell if you didn't figure that out over the course of the lane, but your W in this lane literally is a tango. Like that's how I would look at your W. Okay, so there you go. Okay. So, see, the lane's still fine despite all the mess ups you had, and that's how a lot of times I can tell if a lane matchup's good or bad. Over my course of experience is like I kind of ask myself how I think I played the lane, and if I'm still level 6 and the guy's level 5, oh, it's just a good matchup. I don't think you should like absolutely free farm the early game, but I think you should. But I think you should have more than the CS than you had. Is like drastically more, like probably 50% more. Like if you had 20, you probably should have 30. And right now with 30, you should probably have like 40. Okay, so this is how I look at this, right? Is are you free farming this lane?
Uh, well, I'm farming pretty well until they get 6, which
Okay,
is only for a little while longer. But
so like the way I look at these Doom Dirge heroes, okay? Does Doom pressure your tower?
when it gets, I mean,
Even
when
when
he
he's
gets
6,
60,
does is his
he
lead
doesn't push
exerted by
fast,
he
but
doesn't push fast, right? So like what kind of hero threatens your tower in the mid or safe in the safe lane? Just name some.
oh, just like Ench,
Inch,
uh,
Beastmaster,
yeah, Beastmaster,
in the mid lane, these DKs, even like Alina can threaten your tower if she's ahead.
yeah.
So like my point is these heroes that don't threaten your tower, can you think of something that they also don't do?
Well, they don't threaten your tower, or they don't force you to rotate that many heroes to their lane, I guess.
Okay, because they don't threaten your tower, 99% of heroes that don't threaten your tower also don't farm very fast.
Oh, okay.
So, doesn't that make sense? Because usually
Yeah,
threatening tower means wave clear or high
yeah,
physical damage, and those both result in farming. Or, sorry, pressuring the tower. And both of those also result in farming.
yeah.
So, basically, is when you're dealing with a hero like Doom and it's a close lane, should we fuck with this guy at all? Like, if we both just farm and nothing happens, who benefits?
Me.
You, right? Yeah, because
Yeah,
his hero doesn't farm. So it's like, that's why when you're like a TA against Huskar mid, that you kind of just let the Huskar do his thing, because he doesn't flash farm, and you just go jungle on TA, because you'll get way more by just chilling and jungling than you will
yeah,
by trying to fight this guy who's like a strong eight, like these heroes that like control their territory, right? Like Huskar, Doom, these type of heroes, right? They just kind of say, "I dare you to walk up to me, I'll hit you. But if you don't walk up to me, I'm kind of just slow and I have no stun and all that kind of shit, right?" So
yeah,
these are the type of heroes where I always look at these heroes and I say, "I'm gonna leave the second I can." Because when's the only time Doom Undying is gonna kill you?
well, that makes sense.
When you go on them. Like it's literally the only time they're gonna kill
Yeah,
you. So like, they're like this enemy team actually has no stuns. Okay, they actually have no stuns.
yeah,
They have Monkey King Q and they have Lich single target pull thing. So like, they should just never kill you. Is the way I look at this. And if I'm against a lineup when I'm like PL, Slark, Jug, Life Stealer, these kind of heroes, where I look at their lineup and they have no stuns, I just keep my distance by like pushing out the lane as much as I can and then leaving like at all times. And eventually you'll be level 9, this Doom will be level 7 because you're farming both jungle and lane potentially while he's just sitting in lane. And then you can do this kind of shit, right? So it's just this mindset thing where it's like, what hero are you against? What does he do? Like, don't think to yourself, I can kill this guy. Why would you
yeah,
bother killing this guy?
yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just not worth the risk. His death would mean much less for him than your death means for you. And that's
yeah.
like,
It has,
good.
I would say it has to be like a very certain kill, like 80% kill. Like,
It
and
has to
then,
be a literal free kill. Like the guy just
yeah,
walks up
yeah,
out of position, and you're like, "What the fuck is this guy
yeah,
doing?" And then you kill him. So these are just little things we're trying to avoid, and all of them are, if you've noticed, when I talk about the lane matchup, when I talk about that decision to go for the kill, when I talk about leveling your Q, they're all things that can be thought of ahead of time, and then when you have a game that goes incorrectly, you can review to yourself and like try to correct for the next time. So
yeah,
we're just trying to avoid these like unnecessary perils per se that we put ourselves in.
yeah, yeah,
So especially in the carry role, it's just as important in the mid role, I'd say. But like, I'd say these skills I'm talking about with like avoiding unnecessary danger is like the 90% of skill that it takes to play carry.
yeah.
Because as a carry, you're pretty much the target of the enemy team at all times. So you actually put a second point in your W. Interesting.
I think that was a misclick, but
Yeah,
can't say for
I
sure.
wouldn't be surprised if it was a misclick. I probably have my Dota chess overlay on. I just realized. Oh wait, no, mate.
I don't
No, it is. Oh, it's the
on the
same
stream.
now. Okay, yeah, yeah, on the stream. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Looks like it was fine, but okay. So, um, so I thought you said you knew what the dead lane was.
I I've heard of the concept.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
shouldn't be
So,
here or something.
um, have you said you've seen my coaching sessions? When the opponent groups, what are your two
Yeah.
options?
Go push another lane. That would be, or
Or
fight them,
or
I
fight them.
guess.
Okay. Cool. So let's act like we're 5K and we understand Dota here.
Okay.
So let's look at the map. Why am I telling you to look at the map right now? By the way.
If they're all missing.
Well, no, because you're finishing a creep wave and it's time to go do something else.
Oh, okay.
So you're literally in this spot where it's something, if you get really good, you'll do while you're farming the creep wave, okay? Like, that's the skill where you're able to get all the CS while farming the creep wave, while looking around the map. I haven't fully mastered that part yet, where, like, I've gotten really good at knowing where I'm going next, and I'll check the map and I'll check around me to see what I'm doing, but I'll miss CS while I'm doing it. Like, I'll miss one or two of the creeps because I'm looking around the map. That's like something I would say like RTZ's better at because he moves his camera faster than I do. So, like, this is a spot where I'm telling you to look around the map because you're about to finish a creep wave and you have something you're going to go do. So let's look at the map. Dying's dead. They're all missing. Doom showing top. Where are they? If they are grouped, because if they're not grouped, do we care?
No.
We don't care if they're not grouped, right?
Yeah.
Because that means
Well,
we
I would
can.
have thought they'd be mid because they're not top because of a ward. So.
But what are they doing mid?
Well, I don't. Well, they were just mid. But
But like,
I
who are
mean,
they
you
killing? Like, what are they doing mid? Are they pushing mid tower?
I mean, no, I guess they wouldn't have any reason to be mid.
No, no, they literally have no reason to be mid. Who's killing you? Like Monkey King? You know, like
Yeah,
stun
no.
you and then what? Like, you know, where how does this lead, right? So
Yeah.
the
People
person
behind
that kills you is Doom. The person that they're gonna play around objective wise is Doom.
Yeah.
Like, there's no objective mid. Tower bottom's not pressured. So mid tower's not pressured. Bottom tower is not pressured. If they are not grouped, then nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And we don't, but we have to play like they are because if they are grouped and we act like they're not grouped, that's when we get in trouble at all stages in the game. Okay, at all stages. So at all times, I assume the opponent is doing, based on my knowledge, the worst thing possible that I don't want them to do. Meaning, like, I don't want them to do the thing that's worse for me, is what I mean.
Yeah,
So,
I know what you mean.
yeah, so right now, you're going to finish this creep wave. If they are doing the worst thing possible for you, which is grouping up top, what are your two options? Fight them or go push another lane? So
It's just push, really, right?
do you want to fight them as a PL?
No.
No. Would you debate potentially TPing in?
Yeah.
Maybe, sure. If they're diving and you see an overextension and your Pangolier gets like a nice ulti off and all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're debating TPing in and you have to go push another wave and they're top, what's the best wave to push?
Mid.
Mid or bottom?
I mean,
so what I would do... Go ahead.
I was going to say bottom's better, but it's far away, so...
Yeah, so what I would do here is, since I see Doom and their other kill potential heroes are dead, I would continue pushing mid. BSJ, snipers with me. Do you think I give a fuck? You guys can push mid lane together. I don't care. Like, push the mid lane. Like, it doesn't come down to farm distribution at this point. Like, you guys need to push the lane. Otherwise, you're just gonna lose an objective for free. Like, that's what's gonna happen if the enemy team is like doing what I'm saying here. So this is a spot where I push mid lane because it's 11-15. Where's the mid creep wave right now? The enemy one.
It's like pretty close, I guess.
It's like right here.
Yeah.
So it'll be like right here, and after I finish this catapult, right? So that'll be really convenient. So I'm gonna push this mid wave. And instead, I'm walking towards top, which makes no sense.
I was gonna jungle, and then if they showed push, I think.
Okay.
Or like, and then I saw a hero, and I was like, oh, we can maybe kill him.
Okay.
Or like,
Okay.
I think Tango was calling for a kill.
Okay. So here's the deal. One of the hardest skills, especially if you're not a carry player mainly, okay? But this is a skill that applies to all roles because at some point in the game, all roles need to farm, meaning that even as a 5-position support, sometimes it is incorrect for you to go to fights, okay?
Yeah.
Because sometimes a 5-position support can take very dangerous farm, or it can even
Yeah.
apply
Yeah.
gentle pressure to a tower and would otherwise be literally fucking useless in a team fight, okay? So, like,
Yeah.
but then support players who I think are bad, meaning like even in my bracket, they'll just show up to the fight when they're level 4. And
Yeah.
then they'll bitch to me that we've been fighting all game and that's why they're level 4 at 15 minutes. And I'm like, you literally cannot paint a game scenario where if you play it properly, you will be level 4 at 15 minutes. Okay? You can't. There isn't possibly one. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, as a carry player, you like choosing not to go to fights is like one of the most skillful things you need to do. Okay? And it
Yeah.
comes with foresight. Okay? You don't avoid these fights by looking at the fight now and saying, I'm not going to go. By doing what you're doing now, you have literally declared you're fighting. Why? Why have you declared that?
Because I'm not pressuring any other tower. So if
And
I
what are
don't
your
fight,
two choices when the opponent groups?
yeah, push or
Push
fight.
or fight. Okay. So in my games, if in my coaching sessions, what have I said about jungling? When do you jungle?
When you're waiting for the next objective.
Okay.
Or like they're not showing, or like you want to be somewhere and you're near it, but you can't do it quite yet.
Okay. So as you said, right? You said I wanted to jungle because I didn't see anyone. So that's correct. But this jungle says what? Okay, so while you're jungling, you're waiting for them to show, right?
Well, I thought you were saying it was wrong because I can't die. So since I can't die, I actually don't even need to jungle. I can just go and then leave
Well,
if they come.
well, you can die if you like overextend. This is a game where like if
Yeah.
you overextend it, like if you're farming underneath their tower here, and like
Yeah.
Monkey King's sitting there and they TP Doom in front of your face, they'll kill you. They'll actually kill you. But like they can't kill you if you don't overextend. Like there's games where like as PL, like that if I'm against like a Storm or an Ember or some shit, I can just get dove. But like
Yeah.
in this game, as long as I don't like overextend, I'm not gonna die. So in this game, I view PL in general as like a very cat mouse hero. Like you kind of just avoid fights for the most part, other than like selectively showing up for them. Like you can fight, but you generally want to take very particular fights. You know, you have to be very picky. But okay, so while you're jungling, let's just get back to this point here. While you're jungling, what are you waiting for? Like, meaning in general, not this specific instance, but like, what are you waiting for? Why are you jungling?
Because I can't hit lane creeps.
Because
Or
you
go
don't
for
feel
big-
safe, right?
Yeah.
So, if you don't feel safe, what are the two potential things the opponent could be doing?
Smoking or roshing?
Or just hitting neutrals.
Yeah.
They're either all farming off map, or they're all doing something. That's what I'm looking at, right? So, which one are we always going to assume they're doing?
Smoking.
Okay, yeah, grouping, or like I'm just saying they're grouping to do something. It can be smoke, it can be Roche, it can be a tower. Either way, they're either all farming jungle or they're all doing something together. That's literally the two options. So we have to play every single option like they are doing the one that we don't want them to do. If they're all jungling, so be it, okay? Because we are too. Meaning like if you're jungling because you don't know where they are. If they're all jungling, cool. So this is all stemming from the mid lane, right? This is the decision you make in the mid lane. All of them are missing. Where would they be grouping? Has to be top.
Top. Yeah. So
Do I want to fight them? No. Where would I want to go if they are top? Bottom and mid. Where should I jungle?
The bottom camp.
Exactly.
Like the
right? Like it's a huge deal that you're jungling here instead of here or here. What I would do is I'd be hitting this. I would have pushed this lane first and foremost. In certain games, you can't push the lane because of the heroes they have, but in this game, as I mentioned, you can push it. But if I was pushing this lane, I would have been like the lane would be right here when you pushed it. I'd be like hitting the creeps from this side, right? I'd be hitting them from like right here, not like right here. Why?
because they could. No, if they're smoked, they'll run that way.
Yeah,
and
they're
they'll
going to be
go
coming from this
themselves.
direction. We just know this based on awareness of the game. So basically, like we'd be farming on this side of the creep wave, And the minute we saw somebody, where would we go? Would we run this way?
We'd run like down and then doppelganger up to the high ground.
We'd run this
Like,
way.
no,
We'd
not
just this way in
yeah, like,
general.
yeah.
Like, yeah, you may end up having to doppelganger up here or whatever, but you'd run this way because they're all here. So, like, this is the safest possible route to go this way. So, like, these are little things you have to think about to avoid things going wrong, okay? So, once you start thinking about them, it's, like, real clear. Like, meaning that you'll get in the habit. You'll be like, yeah, they're here. Like, they're around this area. I don't know exactly where. I didn't tell you they're here. I told you they're here, right? Like, which means you go this way. So it's like, so what happens is you push this lane, and then if they don't show, you walk this way because you don't want to walk up to towers. As any carry in the game, make the educated guess on whether or not you can actually walk up to the tower and hit it. That's all I need you to do. It's very hard to teach that. Like, you just kind of have to learn, like, I'm allowed to hit this tower or not. And you should, if you don't know whether or not you're supposed to hit the tower or you're able to hit the tower, you should hit the tower. Have yourself, like, have an escape plan, being, I'll run away and doppel here. And if that doesn't work, then ask yourself why and, you know, learn from it, all that kind of garbage. So basically, my point is, though, is by jungling here in the grand scheme of things, you have said, I'm going to fight them because that's where they're grouped. And so if you were jungling here and you saw this, you would immediately run here. That's what I would do. So if I'm a carry, say I'm a Slark that does no pressure to towers and I'm farming this creep camp and I see this, I would probably finish the creep camp. I wouldn't go to here, but I'd probably finish the creep camp. If I'm like a Jug or a Troll or something and I see this, I stop whatever the fuck I'm doing and I bolt here, okay?
Yeah.
Because those heroes will immediately threaten the tower. And so what you can do is, so let's just paint this picture for you. Say you were actually farming here. You begin to walk here because you see this. What's your next 30 seconds look like in your best description?
Oh, well, I'll push the lane and I'll run behind the tower. Well, it depends on how good I am at killing waves and hitting, but I'll basically push what I was like.
So you'd push the lane, right? You'd push the lane bottom. And what happens if they're still showing top?
We just either hit the tower or kill the wave.
Okay. And so if they're not showing top, what do you do?
Well, I might jungle the big camp, but I might run all like I would hide, probably hide in the trees, honestly.
You would either jungle the big camp or hide, whatever feels safer, or like whatever you like. This is the more aggressive play. This is like the safer play, right? So whatever you feel comfortable doing. You have a ward, so I think you should jungle the big camp. So like, if they're all top, there's no way in fuck they TP'd 3 bottom and smoked at you. There's just no way. Okay, if they did that, Jesus, I don't even know if good players would do that. Okay, so like that would require some insane coordination, and I don't even know if it's possible quick enough because they'd have to TP and smoke, like, and they'd have to TP to like 3 different locations or some shit. So basically, you'd farm this big camp, and then while you're farming the big camp, what are you thinking?
Well, I hope they show top so I can, well, you know, I'll wait for them to show top and then push.
Yeah, you're waiting for them to show you what they're doing, right? If they show top, you're going to go immediately back to the wave. If they don't show top, you can either go here, you can wait here. Like, I would personally think it's more important to, like, wait here than it is to, like, do anything else because this is so far. Because if you, like, do this and then they show top, you're like, what? And then you have to, like, you know, do this. So it's all about asking yourself, like, how much tower pressure can I apply? How safe am I to apply it? How quickly do I apply it? Like, these types of things. So either way, the fact that you're farming your own jungle is just a big, big no-no here. And it forces you to show up to this fight. And it's not like this fight's, like, terrible by any means. But I feel like this is a fight where it could go disastrously. And you should have the option to not show up to it. And you gave yourself no option. So I'm not, at the end of the day, for like a viewer and yourself, I'm not telling you to not go to this fight. I'm telling you to not be forced to go to this fight because of your map positioning. That's what I'm telling you. So now they're bottom. And you know Doom doesn't have Doom, I assume. Do you know this or not?
I can't remember. I think I did. No, I'm not sure, honestly. I don't remember.
Okay, so what are your 2 choices? If Doom does not have Doom, what should you do here? Like, right after you finish this camp, what should you do?
Farm top.
If Doom does not have Doom, I would run at the Doom. I would actually hit him.
Yeah.
Like, I would actually scare him. Because what is the only reason we don't run at a hero and harass them?
We'll die.
Because we're scared of them. Like, we're scared of whatever can happen if we do that. So,
Yeah.
like, the way I look at it is the rule is I'm going to go harass somebody. The exception is I'm scared to do it for X reason, so I'm not going to do it. So, if they don't have Doom and 4 people are bottom, why the fuck is this Doom allowed to occupy this lane? Is like the way I look at it. I'm full health. I am immune to his harass. Like, meaning it like I can just W off his Infernal Blade. And I'm like strong against his hero. So like I'm gonna go hit this guy. If Doom does have Doom, what am I doing?
Just jungling, maybe running mid, probably.
Well, so I would have hit this camp. Why?
Because, well, he's not going to run up and... Like,
It's on the way to mid.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna run mid because I can't contest this guy and they're all here. Right?
Yeah.
I'm either fighting them or pressuring something.
Yeah.
My 2 choices, okay? So like if they're here and I said Doom doesn't have Doom, this is the pressure. Like you're gonna go hit this guy and push this lane, right? But if he has Doom, then you need to go here. And immediately. It needs to be very fast. Otherwise, just shit gets real awkward for the rest of your team. As a carry player, I can tell you, you don't feel the awkwardness. Your team feels it, and you'll feel it later. Meaning, like, you'll realize you're not pressuring later. Look at this mid lane. Look at what's going on bottom. Imagine if this was pushed. Imagine if you just took this tower for free. Okay, so you actually are running there now. I'd say this is about 5 seconds slow. If you want to ask yourself how much damage you do in 5 seconds, you know, this is, what is that, 500 tower health in 5 seconds? That's probably the difference between this tower being at 100 health and 500.
Yeah.
These are very little things that add up, that like, all I tell people when I'm playing against really good players, what do I tell people? Have you heard this before? What's the difference in terms of the game itself?
They're fast.
It's just
Faster,
fast. Everything's just really fast. Like, the same decisions, I have way less time to make them. Like, because the enemy team's making them very fast. So it's like, I'm telling you, it's so great to start practicing this stuff at your bracket, because guess how fast the opponents are making these decisions?
Pretty slow.
Not very fast, okay? So, like, if you think this way, you'll have this, like, you probably went to mid lane 10 seconds late. If you can get there 6 or 7 seconds late, you're golden. If you get there right on time, you're going to take free towers in your bracket. Like, that's just how it is, because I do it in my bracket, like, when I'm playing against, like, 6.5k players. Like, it is the difference. Like, as you go up in MMR, these decisions don't change. It's just the degree of how fast people do them is all that changes. And it takes a ton of skill and knowledge and awareness to do these things really fast. It is like way harder to do this decision in 1 second than it is to do it in 10. Because the 1 second means that you foresaw what was happening and you immediately reacted to it. Or like you immediately acted on it. I don't even want to say you reacted to it because you knew what was happening. While it's much easier to be a good Dota player and just react to what you're seeing rather than seeing it happening. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by reacting is meaning like you don't think about where you're going to pressure until you see the enemy team already grouped up. Like,
Yeah.
I'm telling you earlier, and in this case, you can assume they're going to group somewhere at all times, and base off your knowledge of what they've been doing and like the heroes in the game, you can guess where that is, so you can be immediately ready to react to it the second it happens. Like I said, I don't want to use the same word react here because you're reacting in the sense that like you see what they're doing, so you're ready to do it, but your action has already been thought out. Like that's the major thing.
Yeah.
Like in these cases, you can tell that there's like processing being done after they show. Like, and that's not what we want. We want you to have the processing of what you would do already done, and by the time they show, you just react to what they're doing. Okay, so you see them all bottom.
I should run for the bounty here, because I see Doom TP out, but it's gone.
Yeah, so
I thought it was gone.
here's how I look at this, okay? And I got flamed for this, so I'm not gonna flame you in a way of like you're stupid, because I actually got flamed for this on runes, okay? So the way I look at this is Doom TP'd. So their like strong hero has like surrendered control of this area. Am I right? Like, do you see what I'm saying here? Where like if Doom was not here, it's one thing. But if Doom TP's away from here,
He can never be hit.
he cannot be here, right? That's like a big difference on the map, like in terms of what that means for you. So like if I'm a carry in a game, I'll always have like one or two heroes, sometimes more, but I feel like if it's more, you either picked early or you picked poorly. I'll think of like one or two heroes that threaten me or like make it hard to do my job, and like every movement they make is much more significant to me, right?
Yeah.
Because it allows me to do so many more things. So I always think like when I say the rule is like you're just relentlessly walking down waves and pushing whatever the fuck you want. The exceptions are whenever there's an enemy hero that threatens me. So like I always think about what I want to be doing and then think about who's stopping me and then look at them more so than I look at the other heroes. So like honestly, there'll be games. It's probably not good, but I won't check Undying's items for like 35 minutes because maybe it'll fuck me over once in a while and I try to get better at this, but like at the end of the day, maybe he has a glimmer and that like surprises me or something, but like I don't give a fuck about like Undying doesn't do anything to me here. I'm going to doppelganger and kill his tombstone. Like that's his impact on my game. Um but like I'll check Doom's items once every minute or two, or I'll check Monkey King's items. You know, I'll check maybe even Dazzle, but probably not even like I will check Dazzles, but not for the sake of anything more than just knowing whatever team fight item he has, and he's a core or whatever. So, long story short, though, is runes are not worth giving up map pressure. Supports can do it because supports don't apply map pressure for the most part, but carries map pressure means more than anything else on the map is really what I've learned. And most of the time, what I've also learned is if that rune's supposed to be there and I push this top lane, it'll be there after I push the top lane as well. And I would 10 times rather that rune be taken while I push top lane than go for this rune and have it not be there.
Yeah.
Okay? So, like, meaning that even if what I said is false, where it's like the rune would still be there, it would have to be like 20 times more often that the rune is here now than it is the other time, which is not the case, right? So, I would just be continuing to push top. You're also missing like effectively that rune's worth of gold for yourself, meaning like combined for your team, right?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask about that. Like, how many waves is it bounty? I thought it was like quite. I always thought it was
Like if you're free farming a lane, you still go get the bounty, like on AM, say. Like you
Okay.
still blink away for the bounty.
So the way I prioritize it is lane pressure, man. So like I don't know how to explain it better than this, but there's certain times on certain heroes where even if you push the lane, it's not gonna pressure it. Like, so I'm not telling you to take top wave farm because it's more farm. I'm telling you to take top wave farm because it applies pressure.
I understand that bit. But I just mean like in the laning phase, for example.
In the laning phase, you should always go get the bounty. Because people farm slower and map pressure is applied slower and all this kind of stuff. But like at this stage in the game, like the bounty's worth more than that wave, but like the wave pressure from that wave is quite significant. And if you start doing this pressure thing with like a sense of urgency, I assure you, you'll just play against these players in this bracket and they will look like chickens running around with their head cut off because they just don't know what to fucking do. I'm telling you, when I play like Battle Cup, where it's like 6K players, or like just low MMR averages at my bracket, it's literally me doing this kind of stuff and me just watching 3 people walk through a ward like at me. I'm like, what? And then I just like go to the other side of the map and do the same thing. And they're just slower, right? So they just look slow. Like you're just like, they look slow. What are they doing? And then when I play against really good players, I feel like I'm in a fucking marathon race shit where I'm like having to run around like, and every time I do something, I feel like I'm behind, even though like, and that's how they feel like when they're playing against me. Like I know the feeling because I play against these players. So you see them come top. I think this TP might have even been a bit fast, meaning you hadn't seen.
I was thinking that too in the course.
Yeah, you hadn't seen them top yet, but luckily they were top, so the TP was correct. This is a spot when Undying has shows top, where I would have like lanced the creep wave, backed off, and if they show any more else top, I immediately TP.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's like a map awareness thing.
Yeah, I should push bot.
Why should you push bot?
Because I know that they all ran top. I know that there's no way they're all gonna be.
But what's even more important about it? Have they been playing top consistently for the last 3 minutes?
Last 3? I don't think so.
So what happens
do you
is,
mean like they TP top?
yeah,
Is that what you
they had to get there by TPing
yeah.
because they
Yeah,
were
yeah.
just bottom
mean? Yeah.
here, and then they died, and now they're top. So
Yeah.
that means they TP top. So how is the only way they're gonna get bottom? They have to walk there.
You have to walk.
Yeah, so like,
okay.
so this is the spot where, okay, you're gonna push this lane, you see them all fighting bottom again.
Yeah, so I do because I was thinking that Doom must be bot because I saw him TP, but I guess he must
So
have
no, the
walked
way
up.
I'm looking at this though is they're probably gonna have their TPs up again, but imagine if you had pushed this wave super fast, none of them would be able to get back here, right?
And they'd be forced stop.
And then they'd be forced to walk top, and then you can go bottom, and then they have to TP bottom, and then you walk mid,
yeah.
right? Like, just imagine if you're doing this faster, what it looks like from their perspective, okay? So it's something where, like, map pressure is not lost in one instant. It's lost over the course of 2 or 3 minutes, and that's why I'm rewinding here and, like, showing you the impact of, like, why you should be allowed to push bottom tower. And you're technically feeling more dangerous to push bottom tower because you didn't push top here properly, right? That's why I'm telling you, like, these little things add up. Because when you see these carries get, like, free towers and shit, it's always the stuff they did for, like, the 2 or 3 minutes leading up to it, not the actual tower push itself that you should watch. So now you see this fight going on, so you should immediately at least doppelganger and, like, push the tower. You don't have to necessarily walk up if you don't feel safe to do it, but you should definitely be like, yeah, you end up getting it, so that's fine. It's not perfect, but I think it's fine. Like, it's acceptable. So now you see them bottom again. So after this, what are they going to do? You just saw 3 people kill your guy here. What are they going to do?
Oh, they'll push in bot.
Well, what are their 2 options here? Look at the
They could
map
go
right
mid.
now.
They could go mid. But well, it's just a Kotal, so I think they could go mid or bot. I don't
Okay.
think they could rush.
So, well, are they going to go get an objective? Why or why not?
Well, they might not get to the objective because, you know, lanes are pushed, so they won't get there before Kotal's up. But
So they're not going to
push
get an
the
objective
lanes.
off this kill, right?
No.
Every time a kill happens, you should think about this, by the way. Like, this is very important
Yeah.
because, as I told you, like, when Doom TP's away, that means so much for you, right?
Yeah.
When a hero's removed from the game with good players, they will immediately capitalize on whatever that hero was preventing, okay? Like, they will. So, like, and you should think about that too. Like, if you ever kill a hero, what were they preventing us from doing?
Yeah.
And guess what? If you ask yourself what they were preventing us from doing and it's nothing, what do you do?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, if you kill somebody on the enemy team, you ask yourself, what was that hero preventing us from doing? And the answer is nothing.
Oh, or you just
Do what you're doing. Maybe
You just continue farming, like, or whatever you were doing, right? So that's like but that's actually really hard to do. Meaning, like, I can't tell you how many times as a player, like, I'll get a kill in, like, a high intensity competitive match, and I'll, like, try to force an objective off of it when I shouldn't. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely know.
Yeah,
I've
so
seen
it's just as important to not force an objective when you're not supposed to as it is to force an objective when you're supposed to, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm telling you, like, if you recognize that the enemy hero that you killed doesn't change anything other than maybe getting more time to farm, then it's crucial that you should just get more time to farm, okay? So that's why I'm telling you, like, whenever you kill somebody, whenever they kill somebody, just give yourself, like, try to do this, like, 1 or 2 second thought process real quick. What does that mean? Like, for us. So right now, I'm thinking to myself, they were bottom. They're not getting any objectives. What's their 2 options as a team right now?
Oh, they might they'll want to shove in bot, like they will shove in bot because
Okay.
we can't pressure, like we can't defend this wave as well. Like they can.
They are 3 there.
Play
If
them
you
out.
walk up to that wave and assume they left, you're just going to die, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we can't push that wave. So they are going to push that wave. After that wave, what are they going to do? Are they going to push bottom?
Well, I mean, they shouldn't push. No, they won't because Kotal will be.
They're not
there,
retarded.
so-
They're not going to push bottom,
Yeah.
okay? If they are retarded, what do you do if they go bottom?
I mean, kill.
You walk
Oh,
mid,
Kotal-
right?
No. Yeah, because Kotal will just
You
defend.
literally just walk mid.
Go
If they show 3
Yeah.
heroes pushing bottom, you literally just walk mid, okay?
Yeah.
And if they show 3 heroes pushing bottom and your team is competent, what would be happening while they show 3 heroes bottom?
So if they're pushing bottom with only 3 heroes, is that what you mean?
Yeah, I'm saying, like, the 3 heroes that just killed your guy are now pushing bottom.
Oh, we'll just split push.
Yeah, your Tusk will push in mid, your Sniper will push in
Yeah,
top,
yeah.
and by the time they get to bottom tower, they'll already be losing mid,
Yeah.
and top will be at their tower top, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why to like a new player or somebody who's like a low MMR player, that's why they won't push bottom. Like when I say they're retarded if they push bottom, that's why they won't. Okay?
Yeah.
And if they do, it's like incredibly bad, like because it's punishable. So like, but you know, the lower MMR bracket you go, maybe it won't get punished. They'll just walk down the lane. But the point is they're either gonna push out bottom as a group, which would be stupid. They're gonna push out bottom and then leave, and then or they're gonna like smoke to mid right after they push bottom, right?
Mhm.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
So I'd say in 90% of these cases, they're going to have one or two heroes push bottom, and then they're gonna separate and maybe leave
Yeah.
one hero bottom, right?
Yeah.
So what should you do in that circumstance?
Jungle, like bot or like
Okay,
push
jungle
mid,
near bottom,
or-
and then what?
well, it depends on where they show on the map.
And the minute
But
they
I'll
show
just-
mid, what do you do?
Oh, then I'd push bot. If
Yeah,
there's only,
and
if
then you
there's no heroes
immediately
around.
run back and push bottom, right? Because they at any time in the game, what does any team want to do?
Take objectives.
They want to threaten, group up, take objectives, right? What's the only thing in the entire game that prevents a team from grouping up to take objectives?
Yeah.
What is it?
Oh, wait, what's
What
they'll
prevents-
lose more objectives.
Yeah, that
Is
they're
that
going to
trap?
lose objectives themselves. And what's that? Map
Yeah.
pressure, right? Like that's what's
Yeah,
preventing
yeah.
them from taking objectives. The reason why the like your own safe lane is generally the dead lane, and this is the lane you want to play, is because this is the lane you apply pressure. So as a PL, how do we stop them from taking towers? Do we confront them and fight them?
No.
No,
you
we
just-
push in the bottom lane relentlessly if they leave, and if they don't come back, they lose a tower, right? So we force them to continuously come back here. And that's the mindset you need to have at all times. So like this is your home, and the only way you leave your home is if they do something stupid like walk 3 heroes down here, okay? So the rule is you play here. The exception is you go elsewhere because of what they're doing. So this is where you wait, like right here, by the way.
Okay.
And it's really important you do, because you see this, you clear this wave, and you back off, and you farm these two. And
Isn't
then,
it? I mean, isn't it scary to wait there, like in that exact camp, because I don't see anyone, and they were just.
am I
what?
telling you to wait in a camp? Sorry, I'm not being clear.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
The
you mean
camps
waiting
were
in
dead.
trees.
The camps were
Oh, yeah.
dead, so
Yeah,
you're
they-
waiting like
okay, so
right
in the
here,
trees.
or you're waiting
Okay.
like right here, right?
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
telling you to
Okay, that
hide
makes
here
sense.
during this period
Yeah,
of time.
yeah.
Yeah, I apologize. I was not clear. So you should hide like right here. And I told you what's going to happen, right? They're going to clear this wave with 1 or 2 heroes, and then they're going to separate.
Yeah.
And I told you that before I saw it. And it's not because I'm some genius. It's because these guys are decent Dota players. And at some point, decent Dota play becomes predictable because they only have one good option. It's not correct for them to immediately run mid. It's not correct for them to push bottom. What else are they going to do, right? Like, that's what they're going to do. So they push it with 1 hero, and what you basically need to do is wait for that 1 hero to push it out. And then, like I said, after they push it out with 1 hero, what are their 2 options?
Wait, sorry. After they push out
After
bot-
they push this out. That's all we really knew once they got the
Oh.
kill. They're going to push this out with 1 hero. What are their 2 options?
They can split up and farm or smoke, I guess.
Yeah, they can split up and farm, or they can, like, group up and do something. So if
Yeah.
this guy's farming bottom, what's the enemy team bound to show me eventually? Because my Tusk was pushing mid, right? Okay, this is actually
Wait,
even better. This is even better. So because my Tusk is pushing mid, what is the enemy team bound to show me?
Well, they have to defend, and if they're not defending, then they're smoked.
Okay, perfect, right? So where do I find the information on whether or not I go back to bottom lane?
Like, whether or not they defend mid.
It's based on mid, right? And I need to understand that, right? So, like,
Yeah.
literally at this point, I should know that. Okay? Like, at this fucking Monkey King replays. At this point, I should know, because they were bottom, that they're going to be here. Like, 100%, right? We know they're going to have
Yeah.
somebody here, because we just saw them literally kill my Coddle right here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to know that I will know whether or not they leave bottom based on this wave. What if this wave was right here and this wave was right here?
Well, then they'll have to defend top.
Then I would know based on top, okay? Like, either way, I know based on the wave that's pushing, okay?
Yeah.
And so, like you said, if they don't show anyone, they're doing something. If they show somebody, they're not doing something. It's
Yeah.
that simple. And the only more advanced version of that is if the enemy, like at high levels, exactly who shows and when is like very methodical. So like what high level players will do is like purposely show a hero mid while the other three are smoking,
Yeah, so like a position 5. will go
or
mid.
they'll show the carry or like a hero that you would think would show mid normally. Meaning like there are a lot of mind games that go
Yeah.
into that. Okay, but in your bracket, if that happens, like more power to them. Okay, we need to like work on your decision making first with that. So basically, I look at this and I say I'm gonna know what they're doing based on mid. So how long is it going to take me to know that? This is like super in depth, by the way. Like this is how you need to think about it. It's going to take this like 5-10 seconds.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
10 seconds from now, I'm going to know what they're doing, or like I'll have it, or at least 15 seconds from now, like maximum, I'm going to know what they're doing. So in 15 seconds, what will be my options? Okay, that's how I look at it. Like, and it's something where I no longer think in like exact numbers. You get a feel for it. Like I'm telling you now, you can think in numbers and then later play by feel because you'll have a good idea just by experience. So like in 15 seconds, guess what? All the creeps are going to be respawned, and I want to be pressuring bottom. So I'm going to play between these two camps and this wave, right? Because of what I just said. So I think anywhere in here is like acceptable to be hiding. And you're only hiding because there's nothing else to do. I would farm this if it were here, and I would farm this if it were here, but it's not here, right? So I'm gonna hide.
Yeah.
So like the point is though, right, is they're immediately like I can tell you how it's gonna play out. They're gonna show themselves mid eventually, and I want to pressure bottom the minute they do. And if they don't show mid, I'm gonna keep hiding until they do show, because they have to show. They actually have to, otherwise they're gonna lose a tower. The times where you're content hiding in trees is the enemy team's missing and you're gaining something on the map when nothing's happening, right? But instead of pressuring bottom, you go mid. I don't know what the fuck this is.
I just got Diffy.
Okay, so what did we talk about earlier, right?
Yeah.
I didn't say you shouldn't fight. I say you should have been here pushing this wave, and then walking here while this wave's pushing in.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not telling you not to fight. I'm telling you to manage map pressure first.
So I shouldn't proactively fight. I should, if my team is fighting and it's a good fight, I'll TP. But I shouldn't like.
Okay, so the way good
run.
players play, this is what I've realized, okay? Is every time I'm forced to take a fight or the enemy team is forcing a fight upon me with these heroes like PL, like, I take a glance at my waves and 2 of my towers are getting hit by creeps, okay? Like, that's just how it works. Like, I don't know how to explain it, like, better than that. But, like, if I'm playing against a really good PL player and he's at this fight mid, this tower is dying to creeps, okay? Like, that's just what's going to be happening. Like, that's because they prioritize the map pressure creeps more than this. Like, if the enemy team is forcing Roche, maybe it's different, right? But was the enemy team forcing anything here?
No.
They weren't.
No,
They were actually just mid. You just walked at them and fought them, right? So, like, the only exception to, like, prioritizing map pressure over actually fighting them is when they are literally forcing you to fight them for some reason. They're hitting your high ground. They're killing Roche and you know it, or, like, whatever. But, like I said, home, relentless pressure, and then if, like, the way I look at it is, at all times, I'm choosing between pressure and fighting. I'm choosing, right? Like, at all times. So when it comes to showing up to fights or not, the first step is always pressuring the right part of the map. So 2 fights that I haven't liked out of you have led, or had begun with you not pressuring the right part of the map prior to the fight. And then once you get to that point, though, so the first step is to make sure you're always pressuring the right part of the map. That's hard, by the way, but, like, I hope I'm giving you some, like, good tools to view the way. Yeah. And I don't expect you to go into your next game and just do this all right. I would hope when you go into your next, like, 4 or 5 games that you'll have these moments where you do this after mid lane, where you go hit this camp and you're like, ah, shit, and you, like, walk. Yeah. Like, after you've done. That's what happens to me, right? As I'm learning, I'm like, oh, shit, I shouldn't be doing this. And, like, I try to stop doing it immediately. So, because it's habit forming, right? You're trying to break habits. So, but either way, these decisions for showing up to fights will become a lot clearer once you do the map stuff correctly. And I can only tell you from here then out, what it should look like is you would have pushed this lane. The lane would be, like, right here. You'd be, like, right here. And whatever you see, you can ask yourself, am I more impactful walking to the fight, TPing to the fight, or just killing this tower? And that is different every game, every hero, every situation, right? But like, if you put yourself in the good situation that I'm telling you to put yourself in, the decision on average will be way better. Like, it'll just be, it's easier. It's easier because you're literally choosing like between a fight and killing a tower for free sometimes, and it's just like, if you feel super fucking powerful and you're just ready to fight no matter what, sure. Just because you have a defusal doesn't mean you have to fight. Like, if you're going to get a tower for free, that's probably more luxurious or, like, nicer for you than it is to fight them with a defusal. But some games, based on their heroes, say they have an Ember or something like that, you wouldn't be able to take that tower anyways, because even if the enemy team's S4, they could have remnanted, TP'd the Ember bottom, and he could, like, threaten to kill you or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by there are situations where you don't push the tower because you can't. And in those games where you actually can't pressure the tower for whatever reason, that makes you more likely to show up to the fight. Like, doesn't mean you have to, just makes you, because the tower pressure option is not as good. So it means that the team fight option is on average will be better.
Would you say,
go ahead.
Would you say, like,
On a hero like Ursa, say, if I got Blink just now, is it a PL thing where, because PL you never really want to fight early? Because I wasn't sure. Like, that's the thing I actually am not sure about with PL is, do I want to fight early or not
Yeah.
when I get diffuse?
Okay, so what I want to be clear to you and everyone else watching is that these decisions that I'm telling you to make are like unique to every hero, right? Like, clearly you understand that because you're asking about specific heroes. And
Yeah.
I've played. Let's find this out here. Oh, this is my Smurf. I thought I logged into my main. Oh, no, I did log into my main. Cool. I've played 255 games of PL, okay? So I understand very well and specifically when to do these things on PL, okay? And I think with, like, general knowledge of this stuff, meaning, like, if you learn these concepts and then start to apply it, PL could probably be learned in, like, 30 to 50 games, okay? Like, PL's a relatively straightforward map pressure hero once you understand him. Like, once you understand the overall rules of map pressure. Like, when I tell people, like, if you spam a hero, you'll get good at the hero, it's because, like, you kind of just learn these things by feel. You don't really learn them by thinking about them in depth. You'll just learn what that hero is good or bad at. So it's like, a perfect example is, like, since I started learning these concepts by feel, I became really good at pressuring map on heroes. Like, I became way better at anti-mage, even though I'm not the greatest anti-mage player. I became way better at anti-mage in general just because I understood these things overall, so I could try to apply them to anti-mage. My decision-making will still be a bit slow, but, like, I'll apply it way better to anti-mage now than I used to because I actually understand it better. But, okay, so the point is, on PL's a hero that, the way he works is that, the reason why I say cat and mouse is because PL suffers against reach, where, like, if PL's doppelganger gives him, like, the enough escape to get away from you, it's, like, really hard to kill him, right? But then if you're in, like, certain matchups where it's, like, Storm, Ember, even, like, a hero like Pangolier, these heroes that can, like, chase you for long periods of time, and also have AoE is even better for them. Those three heroes, like, come to mind as, like, three of the worst heroes to play against. Like, yeah, Underlord's, like, hard to fight into, for instance, and he has the AoE, but he doesn't have, like, the catch. All these other heroes have catch and AoE to kill you. But, like, so basically the way I look at PL is you're kind of like, if you've ever played football, you're kind of like stiff-arming them. Like, you're kind of like creating this little bit of gap between them the entire game, and that's done by, like, pushing the lane a little bit. Like, you're not bullying anybody, really. You're kind of just pushing in the lane consistently, and you're using that as, like, a barrier between you and the opponent. So, like, if you just push in lanes and back off as PL, it's, like, really hard to kill you. Again, unless they have very specific heroes. And when they have those, like, very specific heroes, it becomes becomes much harder to do what I'm telling you to do, and it takes much more unique understanding of matchups. But unless they have those, like, 3 or 4 heroes, it's like playing PL is almost always the same, like, every game. So when it comes to these things, though, I just think about the hero I'm playing, right? So, like, when it comes to PL, like, the reason why I'm able to come to that conclusion is because I understand exactly PL. But, like, if I can start to theorize PL, like I told you in the laning stage, exactly how to level his skills, exactly what his skills do for you, it honestly shouldn't take more than 2 or 3 games of PL to play that lane correctly if you're a very top tier player and you're learning PL, okay? Like, because all the general concepts of, like, using your skills and, like, what to level, what items to buy in lane from all encompassing matchups will just help you, right? So that's why I'm telling you to make these very basic decisions in the laning stage correctly. Because at the end of the day, in my opinion, they do roll over to this part of the game. Meaning, like if you can't make the very, very small decisions in like a 2v2 vacuum, you're not going to make them correctly in a 5v5 vacuum. So like if you look at Ursa, the reason why Ursa is like generally a fighting hero is not only because he doesn't, or not only because he fights well, but also because he doesn't pressure anything. So like his best way of doing things is by fighting you and killing you. That's like his best skill, is to kill people. So like Ursa will generally prioritize not clearing waves over fighting. So let me actually pull up a game. I hope it's not too late. I want to show you because you're asking about Ursa. I lost this game because I made a really bad throw at some point in the game. It might be too... Oh, I actually... Did I load this replay already? This might be perfect. Okay. So if you're against an Ursa and he's ahead, what do you do? How do you handle that hero?
You run away from him.
Yeah, you run, right? Like, how is that not important knowledge as an Ursa player?
Yeah.
Aren't they just gonna run from me the whole time? I literally said that like 10 minutes into this game. So basically I was given a 1v1 and I shit on this Magnus. So I'm winning my lane. What would you do here if you're winning your lane? Try not to look at my item, but like ask yourself, what are you thinking? You're winning your lane here. As
Well,
Ursa.
I wouldn't have bought that. I would probably rush to blink.
Okay.
Like, oh, I'm gonna go kill people.
Okay, so
But I guess I can't do that because AM will blink away from me.
okay, so basically the way I look at this game, just to give people an idea, like this was a calibration game, but like that's Sumail on Tiny, so it's like a pretty high level game. I basically shit on this mag. I'm level 8, he's barely level 6, and here's how I think about it, right? I'm an Ursa, people want to run away from me. Does anybody on that enemy team want to TP in and help this mag?
No.
Why not?
Because they'll just feed.
They're just gonna get shit on. Anybody on that team. Anti-Mage comes here, he's gonna get bullied away from farming. CM's gonna get here, she's gonna frostbite me, I push my R and kill her in 4 hits. Undying, I'm just gonna run at him and kill him.
Yeah.
Tiny, maybe. Okay? That's actually what I'm thinking. I'm like, the only hero I'm kind of scared of is Tiny. More importantly than any of those other 4 heroes, why are they not helping the mag?
Well, because he's not an important hero in their team.
He doesn't do anything
help.
to me. That hero
Yeah.
does nothing to me. Okay? Like, if it's a Doom level 6, might they try to kill me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a mag who doesn't do anything to me, right? So, and I know this, okay? So, like, this is something you should think about when you play these heroes like Ursa. So, my thought is, mag does nothing to me. None of these heroes want to come to this lane. So, I'm going to buy the item that allows me to run at this Magnus and pressure this lane. Because if I don't buy, like, a Vlad's, then how do I ever take this tower?
Yeah.
Right? I never take this tower if I don't buy a Vlad's. If I buy a Blink, I'm never taking this tower. And if I buy a Blink, what happens while I'm running around the map trying to kill people with Blink?
Well, AM is split pushing. You can't kill.
And what's mag doing?
Recovering.
Recovering. Exactly. And that's like exactly what I don't want to happen, right? So this map pressure idea can be applied on Ursa and like all these other heroes. Like, watch, I never leave this bottom lane because why? I know they don't want to come here. I know the enemy team does not want to come here. I think I told my team to leave. I'm like, what are you guys doing here? Get out of here. I was like, they don't want to come here. I literally said they don't want to come here. But I see a fight going on mid. What did they fucking do to me? Like, what? There's 4 heroes here, and I'm like, I don't give a shit. So, what do I do after this fight disperses? What do you think?
Run back bot.
Okay. Why did I do this?
Because they can't stop you.
Look at what they did. They put their anti-mage bottom. I'm like, okay, they're bottom. Come back here. What do you think I'm doing here? Is my intention to 100% take this rush?
No, but you're creating a lot of pressure. 'Cause
Yeah,
they
I'm
have to
creating
do
a ton
something
of
about it.
pressure because I'm literally, and in this game on stream I said, come here or I take rush, right?
Yeah.
And what did we say they want to do if I'm an Ursa who's snowballing?
Avoid you.
Avoid me, right? So I'm literally saying, here, come at me or I'm going to take this objective. And this objective wasn't me like saying, I want to take Roche, I'm going to go take it now. It was literally me reacting to a fight mid, pushing out mid, seeing that they weren't here and being like, I want to force them here. And I'm going to go walk into Roche now. So, like, that's also why I bought the Vlads. Not only for towers, but it also gives me the ability to Roche early. So I take Roche. Push out the mid lane, because we have to take care of lanes, right? And then let's go back to home. right? Back to home. My Oracle.
So
They can't even contest my Oracle, by the way. My Oracle's pushing a tower, but go ahead, sorry.
So is it just like so you made them leave bot and then you go back bot?
Yeah, right?
So you just drag them around the map. Is that?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you to do on PL, and it's the same on every hero, but like, PL does it differently than Ursa, right? PL does it because I can push in the lane and be elusive. Ursa does it because you can't fuck with me. Like, you literally can't fuck with me. I even bought a blink and I see them top. Do I want to, like, if I TP top, what happens? Think about, like, the next minute if I TP top here.
They'll give them, like, you can't really pressure top, right? Like that quickly.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to farm bot and mid and
For
put
how
equal
long?
pressure on your towers until you can TP.
Yeah, for 80 seconds, right? So, like,
Yeah.
this is not a choice for me to go top right now. If my team's, like, set up with, like, a Centaur blink and they're all sitting underneath tower, sure, right? But, like, even though I have a blink, I'm never going to go to them, right? Like, I played this game flawlessly up until, like, 20 minutes where I just fucking threw because I'm bad. But, like, for the first 20 minutes, if you want to learn map pressure, I played this game, like, virtually, like, I mean, I'm a very good Ursa player. I'm not going to, like, I'm just going to say it how it is. Like, so I end up TPing because they're underneath my tower, and the anti-mage just dies. So I wasn't going to TP, by the way, and I told you I wasn't going to TP, but then they did this. This ain't fucking allowed to happen, right? Like,
Yeah, because you can kill him if he's that near.
yeah,
tower.
I'm like, what is he doing? Like, I thought that they would, like, I thought they would just push my tower, and that's why I said I wasn't going to show up, but then they do that, and I'm like, okay, so I'll kill you.
If you were some hero that could like let's say, I mean, like TA versus Lifestealer, for example, and you're TA, would you like the same kind of thing? You just follow around the Lifestealer, so he has nowhere where you can be.
Yeah, absolutely. So it just depends, but like, notice how like, so what happens here is I wasn't gonna go top, right? But I TP top because they're overextending, and I know I can kill them because they're overextending. So then they overextend and I kill them. So then we immediately push top tower, right? Like you saw me just run for that tower, didn't care about backdoor or anything, took the tower, right? And so now, since I TP top and like shut them down, this anti-mage made an even worse play and came back top. Why is that like super trash for anti-mage to make that play?
Did he TP top?
Yeah, either way he's top.
Yeah.
But like he knew when I killed him, I TP'd here, so he should go bottom, right, immediately. And it's like a big deal that he doesn't. He basically surrenders all map control single-handedly by like, I'm not saying they would have a lot of map control, but they literally went from having like 30% map control to 0 because he's top right now, right? So I'm like, oh, there's an anti-mage here. I didn't know that. What is he fucking doing? Like, I'm like, what is this fucker doing? Like, what? So, and then I just killed their tower, right? And either way, if anti-mage wasn't here, it would have been the same thing, right? And I said, force them back. And that's all I wanted them to do. And then my Huskar dunks in. Whatever. We back off. Wasn't perfect. But I just wanted them back at base. Was that really intended to push high ground, right? It wasn't. It was just me wanting them to react to whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
My team's going ham bone. I don't know what they're doing. But I guess they're killing them. Either way, though, this whole game's pace has been dictated by me. Nothing I did was in reaction to them. And that's how Ursa has to be played if you're ahead, right? Because Ursa's a hero that struggles to threaten objectives, and you should build up items to threaten objectives when you have to. But, like, if I was level 7 and they had a level 6 Doom, I probably wouldn't build Vlad's. I'd probably just go Midas, because I want to still do the same thing, because I don't want to chase around the anti-mage with Blink. But I also can't pressure the tower because they have a Doom, right? So that's like who could like kill me with his teammates.
Yeah.
So in that case, I would go Midas into Blink. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, even if you had a really good start, but they had some hero that could kill you, would you still you would still do that, like as if they had a Doom? Like how would you play that if you couldn't?
So
just
I
run?
would have sat bottom the entire time, been willing to show up to fights because Doom would have killed me, right? So say Doom threatens me, I'd be willing to show up to fights. And if the mid, so in this case, you saw that I showed up mid that one time, right? And Mag was there. What did I do when Mag showed up?
I don't remember. What?
There were literally 4 heroes mid at 9 minutes. I can show you real quick.
Oh, was that when you went Roche or something?
What did I do when I TP'd into this fight and Mag showed up? I'll show you. Do I run here?
Oh yeah, you just fight them because they can't kill you.
Because it's a Mag. If that was Doom, what would I have done right here?
Backed off the farm.
Just continued running, and where would I go?
Probably, but
Because this Doom, I just forced him to leave bottom, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't I just run back bottom? And what if he runs bottom? Then I jungle, and while I'm jungling, I can look to run mid because he ran back bottom because he just TP'd mid.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
what I do is I still have my home be bottom, but I'm not gonna extend as far because the guy kills me, right? Like, or like can kill me. Like if I try to dive him under his tower or I try to threaten his tower, and he gets a TP in from supports or something, or the mid laner, and he dooms me, I'm gonna die, right? So like I can't extend that far, but I'm going to continue pressuring as much as I can. And then if I'm willing to go to fights elsewhere because I'm still strong, right? I'm still strong, but even if that hero threatens me, and if that hero that threatens me shows up to the fight, I immediately go where?
Wait, sorry. say that again.
If the hero that is strong on their team that threatens me, so say this is a perfect example. This is why Dota requires so much understanding.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it's like a theoretical list in terms of strength of heroes in the game, like 1 through 10. Who's number 1? Who's number 10? Okay. So in the example I'm giving right now, in this specific game, what number am I?
1.
Okay. In the game you're asking about against Doom, what number am I?
Like 3. 4.
2 or 3. 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm the 2 or 3 and Doom's the 1 on this
You just-
scale.
Anywhere but where Doom is.
Okay.
Is good.
So if I'm against Doom in the lane and I beat him or whatever, but now he's still strong and scary, and I force him mid, where do I want to go specifically, please? If he's the strongest hero in the game.
Anywhere but mid.
Okay, so that's a rudimentary answer. Can you give a better answer, or do you want me to give it to you?
What was bot? I guess. I mean,
Why bot?
this- Well, because because it's not the dead lane, I guess.
Is
You
so
don't want to go top.
okay. So
You also could drag him away from Roche if you go bot and he TP's bot.
okay, so if I go bottom here and it's the Doom, and he wants to react to me and he goes bottom, what's that effectively doing dead lane theory wise?
It frees up all the other lanes.
Are they not putting their strongest hero in the dead lane?
Yeah.
So if I understand how the dead lane works, and they have a hero that's strong and he wants to apply pressure, and there's only one hero in the game that stops me from applying pressure, shouldn't I go to his own safe lane so that if he wants to stop me from applying pressure, it has to be him, which means they're not applying pressure?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? So like if I go top and Doom goes top, what happens?
Well, then he can do what he wants and you can't really do
Yeah,
anything.
right? Like I can't go top. It can't be anywhere but mid, right?
Yeah.
So in the case of if it's the Doom, or say I'm the Doom and they're the Ursa, I'm probably gonna go wherever he goes or go top.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking from my perspective of the Doom, right? I'm going to go either top because I want to pressure, or wherever the Ursa goes because I want to be the one that shuts him down. So what if Ursa puts himself top? Sweet, right? Like, that's really bad by the Ursa player to do that, okay? And that's, like, understanding these things. Like, when I say, like, when you're watching streamers and they're saying shit like, wow, this guy's a fucking retard. What is he doing here? It's for reasons like that, where, like, I want to be top. He should know that. And he knows he wants to avoid me, and he's there. Oh, hi. Like, that's great.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming top. It's kind of like this part where Anti-Mage shows up here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like, what? Like, why is he here? I'm just going to kill him now. Or even if I don't kill him, I'm going to very least force him to blink into his own base and then not be farming. So that's the point of, like, when you hear streamers, like, high-level streamers just talk about retarded shit that the opponent's doing and why it's retarded. I'm giving you, like, a brief, view into why we view it as retarded. But yeah, so when you're, like, against this Doom type hero, so, like, a perfect example in the mid lane is, like, if you're DK against Timbersaw, usually the best... What?
I played DK vs Husker, like, yesterday or
Yeah. So, like, the way you approach this Timbersaw Huskar hero, Huskar's even more so this way, is he's, like, the one hero on the map that's going to shut down your push, right? Like, so your goal should be, anytime Huskar does something elsewhere, you push mid immediately. Like, you just ult and push mid even without the creeps. And if he never leaves mid, then you need to walk bottom or top. Can you ever TP somewhere to push?
No, because then he'll TP.
He'll just
your
TP
team
and
is
follow
probably-
you, right?
Yeah.
So you have to walk there and push. I literally lost a fucking qualifier game for the international. Actually, this is when I, like, threw together my ragtag team or whatever of Sammy Boy and them. Let me see. Can I find this somewhere? International qualifiers? Where's TI? International. I see qualifiers. Me.
If you go on Dota buff on your team name.
I might
What's
be
the
able to
team
find it. This is all August. Oh, here we go. June. Perfect. Okay, we'll look up my team real quick. We are Leviathan. I'm willing to show you this game. Like, this is worth showing you what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Team Leviathan Dota buff. I know exactly what fucking game it was too.
What hero are you playing? I'm looking at your profile.
Sammy Boy was playing DK. That's all I remember. Sammy Boy DK. It was the first game of the group stage of TI main qualifier.
Yeah, was it 8 months ago?
Yeah.
And it might be this one then.
Oh yeah, copy paste
And
me
you're
that.
playing Lifestealer.
That sounds right. That sounds right. Absolutely right. Yes. That is right.
Is that
Against a Razor.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you don't forget this shit, by the way, when it comes up into relevant conversation.
Yeah.
You don't forget why you lost fucking games that you shouldn't have lost when they weren't your fault.
Especially in TI calls.
Yeah, you don't forget this shit. So I'll show you real quick what I'm talking about, okay? At the highest level, this is how you fucking throw games. I mean, when I say highest level, I mean even though we're not a tier 1 team, we are at the international qualifiers, and this team is not very good, and we were better than them and had no business losing this game. So I will show you the beginning of the end to show you this concept real quick. Okay. In this case, it's DK against Razor, right? Same idea. That does not fit like the exact description of the situation we're talking about, right? So, okay, let's fast forward.
Do you know for DK versus Huskar, should you contest creeps level 1, or should you just be pulling creeps the whole time?
Generally, I would say you're pulling creeps the entire time.
Yeah.
And you're not going for denies. You're just going for last hits. He can't really shut you down from getting last hits, but he should be able to shut you down from getting denies, ever.
Because I'm never certain against Huskar if I want to trade with him.
You should never really trade, I think. Yeah. Like, if you're trading with him, he's just going to do more damage, and you can't threaten him when he's at, like, 200 health. The only time I ever trade with Huskar, if I'm a hero, is if I can threaten them when he's low health.
Yeah.
If I can't, based on supports, based on matchup, I would threaten him if he's low health, and I would be willing to trade. But if I can't kill him when he's low, then what's the purpose, right? Because
it makes sense.
Because he'll just sit there low. Okay, so there's a point in the game. He's ulted right now, I guess. It's gonna be his next ult. This is where there was no TP scroll slot. That's why it's like bugged like that. Let me fast forward here. So I go top at some point here, and neither me nor him can contest this Razor, right? So if I TP top to apply pressure, let's look and see here. And so I take the bounty runes bottom. Where's the part where I do this? I know it. I'm gonna go top at some point. I'm blue. Yeah, so I go top here. So I TP top, right? So who's the guy on their team that's gonna stop me from pressuring? Razor, right? So who's the only guy on their team that stops Sammy Boy from pressuring?
Razor.
Okay, so what's the literal worst thing we can do?
Both go to the same lane.
TP to the same lane, okay? Okay? Right? Like, right? Okay.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of the end. What do we do now? You ask yourself, like, what do we do? Where do we go now? What are our choices?
You have to go push bot with one of you and mid with one of you, I guess.
Who? Who pushes bottom? My Skyrath?
I mean...
Our only tower pressure heroes are Lifestealer and DK. And they're both in the same lane. Where do we go?
Oh, you're both going to go to mid now, aren't you?
Mid tower's already dead. Where do we go? There's nowhere to go! Because he TP top. Okay, like, this is the point, right? Like, he literally, like, his job, like, so why is this all happening, right? Why is this happening? Okay? Because he's hitting this neutral camp instead of this one. How crazy is that, right?
What would you?
Is this not
is
the
that
exact
because
scenario
so
that
he
you had
can't
on
walk?
PL?
Because so he can't walk top, so he has
Yeah,
to TP.
so he has the TP top because he can't walk. If he was
But
just
why do-
farming this neutral camp and then walked here, it'd be the same thing. But
My-
then the
my-
minute that Razor TP's top, he TP's bottom and pushes
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, I thought he'd push mid. Oh no, but there's no mid tower. I see. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, you could
Yeah.
theoretically push in mid, right?
Yeah.
But by TPing top, he literally can't do anything.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, we have two heroes that apply tower pressure, and they're effectively able to shut us down all at once while a PL goes elsewhere. PL is showing up at the fight, but meaning PL could be elsewhere, Doom could be elsewhere, Warlock could be farming bottom for all I care. Like, they're getting farm, okay? Right? And they're stopping all of our pressure at once because we TP'd our two tower pressure heroes to the same lane against one hero that shuts us both down, okay? And this is garbage shit. Like, this is trash. Like, in the game itself, what experience from my perspective is like, what's happening here? Why are we forced to fight them here? I literally just TP'd here because I knew I would force reactions from the Razor. That's why I'm here. Like, why did I know that, right? Because I said Razor's the only one that can shut down my tower push. I'm thinking to myself, Razor's the only one, so I'm going to show up here. What happens when Razor shows up here?
Well, DK can push a lane. But
I
did
walk
Razor-
away, and DK can push something else, right? I'm just going to
Yeah.
walk away. I'm literally just going to
Did-
walk away. But go ahead.
Did Razor only leave mid because the mid tower's dead?
He only
Because-
left mid because he knows he stops our pressure, and he sees us both here.
But if mid tower was alive, would he have stayed mid or would he have gone top? Because DK can pressure mid. Like what?
Well, the thing is that
What should you think that? Yeah.
I personally think that if he sees DK and me top, he has to go top.
Yeah.
He literally has to go top when he sees me and DK top.
But sorry, I meant like if Sammy Boy was like just farming mid
Rip.
and you were pushing top, would Razor?
Razor should not
Which one
respond
would
to
he
just
choose?
me. He should not respond to just
Yeah,
me. That's
yeah,
the point,
okay.
though. Is the situation I'm presenting to him is that he should not respond to me because DK will just push something
okay.
else.
Okay.
But then my DK shows up in my lane. So, like, the way
Yeah.
he would choose is, like, what hero threatens towers more. So, like,
Yeah.
if I was the equivalent of DK, yeah, he would show up in my lane, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I was the lifestealer, I was still bottom, and DK was top, he should show up top to stop the DK. But, like, in terms of tower pressure, if I'm looking at our team, DK pressures the most, lifestealer will also hit towers, but not because he's, like, a tower pressure hero, but because he's strong, and he can push lanes, right? Like, that's how I would look at it. Like, lifestealer is strong enough to push lanes, so he can.
Yeah.
So I know he's going to create pressure, but I'm going to worry about the DK. But the minute the DK and lifestealer show up in the same lane, this is trash. Like, it's fine if DK just immediately TP's bottom and pushes that, but he TP'd here. And I TP'd here because obviously if I wanted to pressure a lane, I have to TP because I was bottom. So you see how this all like surmounted itself into like this garbage fest of like we literally lose the game from this moment on. And also because I'm a fucking lifestealer with a DK against Razor. What item do you think DK needs to build here? Against
well,
Razor when you have a lifestealer DK.
Well, I would have thought Blink. 'Cause he doesn't have
Okay,
ammunition.
thank you. What happens when he has a Shadow Blade? He just gets fucking linked when he walks in. Oh my god, Sammy Boy, man. That guy, I got kicked for that guy. Okay. Nah, he's gotten a lot better over time, but he actually fucking lost us that game so hard. Okay, so I just want to I used him as an example because it actually was relevant to what you were saying. And if you're this tower pressure hero, the way you handle it is you force that Razor to chase you and then you go somewhere else. And like the way you do it is you have to do it surprisingly. Like you have to do it properly. Like you can't TP places because if you TP, he TPs. And then if he TPs when you TP, you're fucked, right? So like in these certain matchups, the only time you TP, so in that Ursa case, I was really strong, right? I was the one. If I TP away, am I concerned about who TPs to me?
No.
I'm worried about who will TP to where I TP'd away from because now I'm opening up that part of the map, right?
But so it doesn't matter against AM because it doesn't matter if you follow AM, you still can't do anything to him.
Yeah, I'm
But
not
if
gonna
he was a
follow
hero,
him.
yeah, but if he was a hero you could do something to, then you might be more worried about your TP.
No, I
Is that
literally
right?
told Gunner there was one game that I beat him in a pub like 7 months ago, and I was PL and he was Ember, and he basically like rushed a Radiance and just never contested me, and I was like 6 slotted at like 32 minutes,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah.
you realize if you were like up in my face chasing me around the whole game, well, you guys would have just won. And I basically tried to explain to him that like I'm the win condition for our team. More notably, not just the fact that he counters me, but I was like the hard carry on our team. I was the win condition. If he shuts me down, I can't win the game. Like I can't carry, right? So it's not important for him to have these greedy items. He should just go like strong mid game items. He can go Radiance potentially later to counter me, but like he should just go like whatever items is required, Yule's Maelstrom or something to like run around and chase me, because that's his job, is to just follow me around and chase me. So like if you're TA against Lifestealer, I would say like sometimes it's correct to like chase the Lifestealer because you threaten him, but other times it's correct to just like threaten Roche continuously and threaten towers, because not only do you like kind of threaten the Lifestealer, but you threaten objectives way faster than Lifestealer. So like you can choose to like make him have to come to you. Otherwise he just loses a bunch of towers while he's like rushing his Radiance or whatever. But the worst thing you can do is like do neither of those things. You should either contest him right on or head on, or you should just force more stuff than he can handle. It's like in that anti-mage game, I didn't try to chase the anti-mage around. I just said, I'm going to force whatever objectives I damn want to, and if you don't show up, I'm going to take them. Like, that's, like, the other way. Those are, like, kind of the two ways to approach that scenario. So I know... Go ahead.
There's a difference between TA and Ember that... Because TA can take objectives really fast, so you might want to just go for objectives, but Ember can't, so you do want to just follow them around.
Yeah, exactly. Mid one is incredibly good at this, by the way. Like, amazingly good. If you want to learn this from the mid lane perspective of, like, how to pressure, best player I've ever played with in pubs when it comes to, like, pressuring is mid one. It's insane. Like, he'll be, like, an Ember at, like, a tier 2 at, like, 7 minutes into the game. And it seems, like, so simple. Like, yeah, he's unkillable. But not only is he at a tier 2, but he's at the tier 2 that he's supposed to be at. Meaning, like, if I'm a PL... and I'm against Doom in my top lane, where do I want to go if I'm Dire? If I'm PL, I'm against, in your game, I'm PL, I'm against Doom, and Doom's 6 now, it's 7 minutes into the game, where do I want to go?
I guess.
Bottom. And in that kind of game, he'd be Ember playing here.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's an example of, like, you have to understand every hero in the game to play properly. And that's why, like, last year when I talked about, like, that a lot of my understanding came from just, like, learning these random heroes. Even if I don't know how to play them, I know what they want to do. Like, I know how they play the game. So it's like, and that comes with, like, in-depth understanding. Like, yeah, PL's against Doom, doesn't want to play there. Now that Doom's 6, PL's gonna either go here or here. This is not bad for us at all. I don't care if he's here. So I'm gonna play here, and then after I clear these camps as Ember, where am I gonna go?
Or you're just gonna keep running.
I'm gonna walk here, because that's where he is if he ain't here. Like, right? If he's here, he's gonna fucking die, so he's not gonna be here. So I'm gonna go here, and then I'm gonna go here. Like, here's the better place for PL to be, for himself. So I'm gonna go here first. And if he's here, he gets bullied. If he's not, I'm then gonna finish these camps first, and then chase him here. Because if I finish these camps and then chase him, where the fuck does he go?
Yeah.
Well, nowhere. You don't go anywhere. So, like, that's, like, how you pressure, right? And it's like, if, like, in a case where I'm PL against some hero that doesn't threaten me, what's he gonna do?
What's the hero that doesn't threaten you?
So, no, say, like, I'm against an offlaner, like, Brew threatens me. I'm a PL against just any offlaner that doesn't threaten me.
Yeah.
What's the Ember gonna do?
Well, he's gonna have to come to your lane.
He's gonna come directly to my lane, and then if I walk away to these camps, what's he gonna do?
Well, he's gonna run at you.
He's gonna run at you, and if I TP bottom, what's he gonna do?
Well, he's not gonna be able to run at you anymore.
He's gonna TP bottom.
But if he TP to your lane.
No, I'm not. I'm saying he will not TP to my lane. He will walk at my lane. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's a big deal. He won't TP to my lane, because that gives me an out. He's literally going to spend the time to walk at my lane, because he's going to spend, like, what, 15 seconds walking here to then be able to chase me for an extra 80 seconds because of my TP, right? Like, if he TP'd here, it would save him 20 seconds but then there would be 80 seconds that he wouldn't be allowed to follow me. So it's like if I'm a TA, I would do the same thing where I'd show up in the lifestealer's lane, but instead of chasing the lifestealer down here, I would boot him out and then take his tower and then do something else afterwards, right? Like, or take Roche or something. I wouldn't TP at myself TA bottom. Why would I not TP as bottom as TA, but I would as Ember?
Well, you'll die.
Yeah,
You
as
can
TA,
die,
you're
there's
just
no
in danger.
Roche.
You'll die, right? Like, I also won't
Yeah.
play here as TA because I'll die. But Ember, if I'm against, like, no stuns or whatever, like, meaning if I'm Ember, I can maybe chase him to here in certain games. In other games where they have no stuns, I can chase him all the way to here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But, like, that's, like, when I said, like, if I'm Ursa against the Mag, I'm going to buy Vlad's and run at this guy relentlessly because he doesn't threaten me. If I'm Ursa against Doom, I'll try to apply pressure, but I'm going to, like, chill. I'm not going to be the equivalent of Ember being here, right? I'm just going to push in, back off, push in, back off. Because Doom won't solo kill me when I'm Ursa, right? So I need to play this area such that I'm not killable with help. So the way I would look at that as Ursa, if I was against Doom or something, I would say, I can die to Doom if he gets help. So, but none of the other heroes kill me. So I need to not be near Doom when another hero could potentially show up, right? So I'll push in the lane and play on this side. If the Doom ever runs at me, I'm immediately running away. And after I push in the lane, I'll back off to here. And if I see another hero running at me, I'll like position myself so I can see max distance, right? I'll see like this area and this area. If I see another hero running at me, I'll run away. Like, it's just like I know all I'm avoiding is exactly Doom and another hero on top of me at the exact same time. And so it's like that comes like with a big deal where I'm avoiding the Doom in the case that like I get gone on by him plus one other. But if I see all three heroes show top and one hero show mid, I'll run at the Doom, right? Like I'll go hit him. It's just like I'm only afraid of Doom because he can potentially get ganked for it.
Yeah.
But in cases where you're like PL against Ember, you're like never running at that Ember. Like that's just not happening. So what I'll do as PL is I'll usually, like, if I was PL against Ember there, I'd TP bottom, push in the lane very quickly, and then probably just back off, assuming he's going to show up here. And so someone may say, BSJ, what do you do when you're the PL against Ember? Well, that's why when I'm in these high-level games and it's like me against Gunner and then like all the other guys are ranked 600, it's almost impossible to win because I'm like reliant on my allies to like apply pressure properly because I can't, right? Because I'm PL against Ember. I can't apply pressure in that game. So like that's why I'm like I don't like high level pubs because if it's just like one good player on each team and then the other four are like ranked 600 because it's literally whatever one of those good players has the better matchup. Like it's literally who bullies who because both of those players are going to be the two guys in the game that apply map pressure properly, and then like the guy that has the better hero to do it's gonna win. Like that's how it is. So that's like a very frustrating part of pubs. But for yourself, we have gone over time. I feel like I've answered a ton of questions. Do you have any like last minute questions before we wrap it up?
Well, I played Troll vs Puck. When do you think that Puck pushes at later levels, like 3 and 4? Like, because Puck normally is a really strong level 1. Would you
Okay.
say Troll's stronger level 1?
I think Troll
Like
is quite strong level 1, yeah. I'd say his strongest point's level 2 and 3 though. I'd say 2 and 3 are very strong for Troll.
Okay.
So in that specific lane I would level Axis first. Well, pretty much every lane I level Axis first, but I'd level Axis first, and once I got level 2, I would pretty much run at the Puck every single time with my melee whirling Axis chances every time he's going to walk up for a creep. So like if he's going to walk up to hit one of my creeps, I would walk at him with my axes, forcing him to orb the creep. And then I would basically be willing to hit him while he's doing that because he's mischanced or whatever. And in that lane specifically, I probably wouldn't level Fervor at 3. I'd probably go a second point in axes because my plan revolves around walking at him with axes while he's going for the creeps. So I want to just do that extra 50 damage with axes. And then I would say once you both hit like level 5-6ish, she's better against you than you are against her. So I would like after level 4ish, I'd probably start maxing Fervor and just defending my tower while jungling. Like I would rotate between jungling and defending my tower. I wouldn't try to pressure Puck's tower, because the minute Puck hits 6, you're like very vulnerable to death. So I'd probably go I'd probably just go like double Wraithband raindrops and like rotate between lane and jungle, because you can't create pressure. But what I would do is like, you can't let her push your tower for free, so I'd always be at my own tower, and the minute Puck rotates, are you responding?
Yeah.
To Puck
Oh, sorry.
rotating?
So if Puck leaves the lane, then you go and push
Yeah.
mid.
Yeah, what do you do if the Puck leaves?
Yeah, you push mid.
You push, right? But that's like important in every lane matchup when it comes to mid side lanes. Like, you need to know what happens if they leave, what happens if they're there. Like,
Yeah.
the way I look at it is like, if I'm in the safe lane, mid lane, or whatever, and if that person's stronger than me, what are they usually preventing me from doing if they're in my lane?
Well, farming the creeps or pushing.
Yeah, farming and
Pressuring.
pushing the wave, right? So if I'm in the safe lane and I'm threatened by the opponent and I know they're gone for Bounty Rune, Shrine, or whatever, I'm gonna immediately push the lane. Like, immediately, I'm just gonna hit all the creeps and leave. Like, because I want to be gone by the time they get back. So that's something I see all the time in my like 4K coaching sessions, is the carry will like have an offlaner that's really strong, and the offlaner will be gone for obvious reasons, like, I don't, whatever they are, and the carry will just sit there staticking the wave, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Go push it and then go single pull the small camp. And what that does is you'll get one wave free, you'll go farm the small camp that you single pulled, and the lane will be back at your tower anyway because you single pulled it. So it's like, one way you're like busy contesting the opponent for 2 waves, the other way you're contesting them for 0 waves. And they're stronger than you, so it's better for you to avoid them. But yeah, so anything else?
Well, for the Puck versus Troll matchup, do you think Puck wins the first 3 levels? Like from the
I
Puck.
can't say for sure, but I feel like it would go
Oh.
even at worst
Yeah.
for
Okay.
Troll. I
So
don't
do you
think
think?
Troll would lose badly.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you lose badly?
Oh no, I won on the Puck.
Okay, you won on Puck. Okay. I would
Yeah.
say either way, it's at most 60-40 one way or the other.
Yeah.
I've never played that specific matchup, but based on what I know
Yeah.
about the 2 heroes, I know a lot about Troll, and I've played against Puck a lot. I can't imagine either hero would get demolished. I feel like once you hit like level 5 or 6, Puck definitely wins, but like Troll should be able to just farm for sure.
Yeah.
I would say if
Puck,
both players make equal amount of mistakes, Puck would own. Like, meaning if it's one of those matchups where if both players play it perfectly, it's probably like slightly in favor of Puck, but both heroes will farm. And if both players don't play it optimally, Puck will like probably solo kill the Troll at like level 6 or something.
Yeah.
That's probably what happened.
Well, so that's was it Puck? But Puck shouldn't kill him in the first few levels.
Yeah, Puck should not win in the
Okay.
first few levels, I feel like. Level 1 through
'cause-
3, I see no way Puck wins that for sure. Because you can't like dodge Troll's melee axes. So like Puck usually can win trades and stuff by dodging the nuke or whatever of the opponent, but you can't actually dodge his melee axes. And Puck's like low enough range that Troll can like walk at you and hit you with the axes pretty reliably if he's like predicting it. So like that's how I feel about it. I feel like Troll's a really strong mid laner, meaning like lane wise, like not necessarily that he should be played mid a lot, but like in terms of actually laning the lane, he's very strong at laning. So
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of mid trolls recently. That's why I asked.
okay, yeah, I mean I've been watching a decent amount of qualifiers, but I haven't seen any mid trolls that I saw in the games I was watching at least. So a lot last patch, but none this patch. But yeah, man. Any last questions again? If you have any more, make sure.
That's all. But thanks very much.
Yeah, cool, man. No problem. Thanks for signing up, or friend or signing up, whatever. Hope you learned a lot, and hope you're able to apply, man. Best of luck.